let's do Joseph. Joseph is a big one. And we're in verse 22. Genesis 49:22. Joseph is a fruitful bow, I think you say that bow or bow, by a well. His branches run over the wall. The archers have bitterly grieved him, shot at him, and hated him, but his bow remained in strength. And the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of the Almighty God of Jacob. From there is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, by the God of your father who will help you, and by the Almighty who will bless you with blessings from heaven above, blessings of the deep and lies beneath, blessings of the breast of the woman, blessings of your father have excelled, and blessings of my ancestors up to the utmost, bound to the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph and on the crown of the head of him who is separate from his brothers. So he is separated from his brothers, and there's a lot in these blessings. You can see that he got the bigger blessing. Everybody else is one verse. You know, a couple of them might have two or three. He's got several verses. His name, Joseph, comes from Asaph, take away, and Yosef, added. And Genesis 30:22-24 is when he was born. It says, and God remembered Rachel, and God listened to her and opened her womb. She conceived and bore a son and said, God has taken away, there's your names, my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, saying, may the Lord add to me another son. So there's your two names, Joseph, take away and add. Okay. So God took away Rachel's reproach because she couldn't have children, but now she's having children and she's being blessed. And Joseph's entire life, we just went through all this, through all the scriptures that we've been through in these chapters. His entire life pictures Christ in all the different ways. You know, he was scorned by his brothers. He was sold as a slave. He was pulled out of the pit, sold into Egypt, falsely accused, became the leader of the world, second to Pharaoh. That all that stuff pictures Christ. Okay. And there are many ties in this story, these blessings that go to Joseph. It says Joseph is a fruitful bough by a well. His branches run over the wall. Okay, this is another one of those hard verses to translate. I dissected this and put those up there on the screen. Joseph, Parat, Ben Ale, Ayin, Benot, Zada. Sure. So Joseph, fruitful son, beside spring, daughters, step over wall. Can you imagine trying to read that and understand that? Okay. So I think it's saying that Joseph is a fruitful son who has fruitful sons. That's where that branches come in. Beside the well, daughters, and he changes it from Ben to Benot, daughters, that step over the wall. And I think these branches, if you think about it, when we make our family tree, we have branches on it, don't we? Showing, and that's what's being depicted here. Okay, your family tree will have branches, and Christ's family tree, when we become part of his, we become in that branch or into the tree and have different branches. Okay. You know, this reminds me of Psalms 1 verse 3. It says, the one who is the blessed man, if he's blessed, he's going to be fruitful. And he is like a tree planted by the streams of water that yields its fruit in season, and its leaf doesn't wither, and all that he does, he prospers. And Jesus is the living water, isn't he? Okay. So Joseph has two branches that come off of him, and their names are what? Ephraim and Manasseh, his two children. Okay, and they picture the Gentile church and the Jewish people. They're being adopted into Israel. Okay. In Psalm 64, 1-5, and I believe this is connected to him with the arrows, okay? If you It says, hear my voice, O God, in my prayer, preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. So arrows in the Bible picture bitter words that you're shooting at someone, and they go to the heart, to the soul. Okay, words, that old saying, sticks and stones, you know, may break my bones, but words never hurt me. That is a lie.
Right.
Because sticks and stones, if you break someone's bones, they'll heal.
Right.
Okay, and maybe you'll be friends later, I don't know.
Right.
But words go to the soul, and they hurt.
Yeah.
And they carry on. God's gonna take all our pain away when we get to heaven, but they can be transitioned into the next realm. And that's why words hurt so bad. And they're like arrows. And that reminds me of when Jesus was on the cross. You know, they were mocking him. Like right there, it says, likewise also the chief priests mocking him with the scribes and elders, and he saved others, himself he can't save. If he be the king of Israel, let him come down from the cross and we'll believe him. He trusted in God, let him deliver him now, if he will have him, for he said, I am the Son of God. So here they are mocking him while he's on the cross. Okay. And that's talked about in Matthew 27, verse 40 and 43 right there. So he would be connected to Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a guy that's got his bow bent. He's actually shooting the head of the scorpion, and that pictures Christ.
And the snake.
Yeah, and scorpion, you know, can picture a snake. Satan in the Bible can be the snake or a scorpion, right? He stings the heel. He shall pierce your heel. You see how that's connected to Genesis 3? He shall pierce your heel, but you shall bruise his head. And that's what he's doing. Sagittarius is shooting the head of the scorpion or the head of the snake. So it pictures Christ. Okay. And that word separate, he shall be separate. This word is Nazir. So it's Nazarite, separated, the separated one. And
do with the Nazarite vow?
The Nazarite vow is the one that's separated, yeah. Yep. He's consecrated, and he is living his life for God, for a promise that he has made, and he's separated himself. Okay. I believe this is probably even connected to Psalms 45, 2-5. It says, gird your sword on your thigh, O mighty one, in your splendor and majesty. In your majesty ride out victoriously for the cause of truth and meekness and rightness. Let your right hand teach your awesome deeds. Your arrows are sharp, and your heart of the king's enemies. The people fall under you. So I believe that's being pictured there in that constellation. There are 3 decans that go with it. Lyra the harp, symbolizing praise. It symbolized praise prepared for the conqueror. Ara the altar symbolized God's fire and judgment on his enemies. And then you got Draco the dragon that's cast down. Okay. His banner would have had wheat on it because he is fruitful. So that's Joseph.